Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the star of our show, Terry.
Hey there, music lovers. Welcome back to another episode of The Music and Me. I'm your host, Terry, and as always, I'm excited to have you here with me as we dive into the beats, rhythms, and stories that make up the soundtrack of our lives. Today, you're tuning into a particularly intriguing topic, one that's all about those fleeting yet unforgettable moments in music history. We're talking about the phenomenon of one-hit wonders. You know, those songs that hit the airwaves like a tidal wave, dominated the charts, and then vanished as quickly as they arrived, leaving us with nothing but a catchy chorus stuck in our heads. Imagine this. You're flipping through your old mixtapes or scrolling through a playlist, and suddenly, that one song comes on. You know the one, the song that instantly transports you back to a moment in time, a song you couldn't escape even if you tried. And just as quickly as it arrived, it disappeared, leaving the artist forever etched in your memory as a one-hit wonder. Ah, the magic of one-hit wonders. These are the songs that, for one reason or another, struck gold, climbed the charts, and became the soundtrack to a particular moment in pop culture. They're the musical equivalent of lightning in a bottle, capturing our attention with an unforgettable hook, a quirky dance move, or just the sheer audacity of their existence. But then, just like that, the artist faded from the spotlight, leaving behind a single, shining gem of a hit that we can't help but love, or at least remember with a mix of nostalgia and curiosity. In today's episode, we're diving into the world of these musical meteors. We're going to explore some of the most iconic one-hit wonders of all time, those songs that made us dance, sing along, and maybe even scratch our heads a little. From dance floor anthems to unexpected chart toppers, we're celebrating the tracks that proved you only need to make one hit to make a lasting impact. So buckle up because we're about to take a trip down memory lane and revisit the songs that captured our hearts and our playlists before vanishing into the archives of music history. This is going to be a fun ride, and who knows, you might just discover a new favorite among these unforgettable one-hit wonders. All right, let's kick off this one-hit wonder parade with a song that had everyone shaking their hips and flailing their arms in unison back in the 90s. Yep, you guessed it, it's the Macarena by Los Del Rio. Let's set the scene. It's 1993, and two Spanish gentlemen named Antonio Romero and Rafael Ruiz, better known as Los Del Rio, dropped this little gem that would soon become an unstoppable force of nature. Macarena was originally just a catchy flamenco pop song in Spain, but then it got a little remix magic from the Bayside Boys, and suddenly it was ready to take over the world. So, what made this song so irresistible? Well, it wasn't just the infectious beat or the catchy chorus, it was the dance. You know the one, the series of simple yet oddly hypnotic moves that had everyone from school kids to grandparents lining up at weddings, birthday parties, and pretty much every social event you can think of. The Macarena wasn't just a song, it was a cultural phenomenon. It became the anthem of every party, and for a good stretch of time, you couldn't escape it. The song climbed the charts and stayed at the number one spot on the Billboard Hot 100 for an impressive 14 weeks. That's right, 14 weeks of pure Macarena madness. And let's not forget about the dance challenge. Long before TikTok challenges were even a thing, people were already taking on the Macarena in droves. It became a must-do at events, from summer camps to sports games, and if you didn't know the moves, well, you probably lived under a rock in the 90s. Here's a fun fact. At the 1996 Democratic National Convention, no less than the First Lady of the United States, Hillary Clinton, was spotted doing the Macarena. Now, if that doesn't scream pop culture impact, I don't know what does. But here's the kicker. Despite its massive success, Los Del Rio never managed to replicate the magic of the Macarena. Sure, they had a career in Spain, but globally, this was their one shot, their one hit wonder. And what a hit it was. To this day, the Macarena remains a go-to song for getting people out on the dance floor and instantly putting smiles on faces. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story because the Macarena has a special place in my heart, but it also gives me anxiety. And here's why. This song was playing in my vehicle the first time I got a speeding ticket. Yeah, that's right. I was driving down the highway in my little red truck with my cousin and my sister, and we were singing along to the Macarena song. And my sister and my cousin were doing the moves in the truck. I was, of course, driving, so I kept my hands on the wheel like a good 16-year-old. But then I heard sirens, so we got pulled over. So this song forever makes me remember my first speeding ticket. So that's why this song is special to me, but also gives me anxiety, as I said. I mean, I remember getting pulled over every time I hear this song. All right, next up in our lineup of legendary one-hit wonders, we're talking about a mambo-sized step into the 90s with a song that had everyone listing off names like they were the coolest cats in town. I'm talking about Mambo No. 5 by Lou Bega. Released in 1999, Mambo No. 5 was a masterclass in blending genres, specifically taking the smooth, jazzy rhythms of mambo and giving them a pop twist that made the track absolutely irresistible. Lou Bega, the man behind the magic, took a little inspiration from the original Mambo King, Damaso Perez Prado, and turned it into a tune that would define the end of the millennium. But what made Mambo No. 5 stand out wasn't just its catchy melody or Lou Bega's snazzy style. It was the way the song could instantly make you want to move, with its bouncy horns, upbeat tempo, and of course, the famous roll call of ladies. A little bit of Monica in my life, etc. The song had people of all ages dancing wherever they heard it. Clubs, weddings, and even commercials couldn't get enough of it. And the world took notice. Mambo No. 5 shot up the charts, becoming a global hit and landing in the top 10 in numerous countries. It even snagged the number 1 spot in several European nations, not to mention its domination on the dance floors around the globe. If there was a party in 1999, you could bet Mambo No. 5 was on the playlist. Here's a fun twist about this song. Lou Bega wasn't just some random guy who stumbled into fame. He was actually a German singer of Italian and Ugandan descent, which gave him a unique flair that helped him stand out in the pop scene. Before Mambo No. 5, Bega had dabbled in various music projects, but nothing really clicked until this mambo-fueled hit came along. And boy, did Lou Bega make the most of it. With his suave outfits, trademark fedora, and infectious energy, he became synonymous with the song. He even released an entire album inspired by the mambo and Latin sounds, although nothing quite matched the dizzying success of Mambo No. 5. But while Bega tried to ride the mambo wave, it was clear that Mambo No. 5 was the crown jewel of his career, a classic case of lightning in a bottle. The song remains a beloved throwback, guaranteed to bring a smile to anyone who remembers the days when a little bit of Monica and Erica and Rita was all you needed for a good time. Next on our tour of one-hit wonders, we're diving into a song that oozes moody vibes and has been the soundtrack to countless dramatic moments in pop culture. Let's talk about the iconic Tainted Love by Soft Cell. Picture this. It's 1981, and the music world is being swept by a new wave of electronic sounds. Enter Soft Cell, a British duo that decided to take a lesser-known soul track and transform it into a synth-pop anthem that would define an era. Tainted Love wasn't just another pop song, it was a brooding, pulsating masterpiece that captured the darker side of love, all while making you want to dance. What's fascinating is how this song came to be. Tainted Love was originally recorded in 1964 by American soul singer Gloria Jones. Her version had a lively Motown-esque feel, but didn't make much of a splash at the time. Fast forward to the late 70s, and the song was rediscovered by an underground music scene in the UK, where it became a cult favorite. That's when Soft Cell got their hands on it and decided to give it a new, edgy life. Mark Allman's haunting vocals, paired with David Ball's hypnotic synth beats, turned Tainted Love into something completely fresh and innovative. It had a minimalist, almost chilly vibe that was unlike anything else on the radio at the time, and people couldn't get enough of it. The song shot up the charts in both the UK and the US, becoming one of the biggest hits of 1981, and solidifying Soft Cell's place in music history, even if it was for this one unforgettable hit. But Tainted Love wasn't just a flash in the pan. It had a lasting impact on the music world. The song is often credited with helping popularize the synth pop genre, which would go on to dominate the 80s. Its distinctive sound influenced countless artists, and it's still a go-to track for anyone looking to capture that quintessential 80s vibe. Now here's a fun fact that might surprise you. Tainted Love is one of the few songs that originally gained popularity as a cover, rather than in its original form. Gloria Jones's version might have been the starting point, but it was Soft Cell's dark, synth-heavy take that made the song a global phenomenon. And speaking of covers, Tainted Love has been reimagined by a variety of artists over the years, from Marilyn Manson's gothic rendition to Rihanna's sampled version in SOS. And let's not forget about the song's famous extended version. On the B-side of the single, Soft Cell decided to include a melody with another cover, Where Did Our Love Go by the Supremes. This extended version became a hit in its own right, often played in clubs and on the radio, adding even more depth to the Tainted Love experience. Even today, Tainted Love remains a favorite in movies, TV shows, and just about any setting where you need a bit of dark, synthy drama. It's a one-hit wonder that has truly stood the test of time, proving that sometimes all it takes is one incredible track to make an indelible mark on pop culture. Now, let's turn the dial back to the 80s and dive into a song that's as synonymous with the decade as Big Hair and Neon Colors. Get ready to sing along to one of the most iconic synth pop hits of all time, Take On Me by Achy. Released in 1985, Take On Me wasn't just another pop song. It was the pop song, the one that seemed to capture the very essence of the 80s in just over 3 minutes of pure sonic joy. With its irresistible synth hooks, soaring falsetto vocals courtesy of lead singer Morten Harket, and a melody that you just can't get out of your head, Take On Me was an instant classic that helped define the sound of the decade. But what really set Take On Me apart from the crowd was its groundbreaking music video, which was truly ahead of its time. Imagine watching MTV, back when it actually played music videos, and suddenly you're pulled into a world where live action meets animation in a seamless blend of reality and fantasy. That's exactly what Achy did with this video, and it blew everyone's minds. The video, directed by Steve Barron, used a technique called rotoscoping, where live footage was traced over frame by frame to create the animation. The result was a stunning sketchbook-like style that followed the story of a young woman being drawn, literally, into a comic book world, where she meets a handsome hero, played by Harket, of course. The two go on a whirlwind adventure, dodging bad guys and jumping between worlds, all to the pulse of the unforgettable synth beat. Take On Me wasn't just a hit, it was a massive hit. It reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the United States, and it dominated charts around the globe. The song, with its uplifting energy and those high notes that everyone tries to hit, became an anthem of the 80s and one of the most memorable tracks of the era. Now here's a fun fact. Achy actually released Take On Me twice before it became a smash hit. The first 2 versions didn't catch on, but the third time was the charm, thanks in large part to that incredible music video. Once MTV put the video in heavy rotation, the song skyrocketed in popularity, proving that sometimes it's all about the right combination of sound and vision. And while Aha had other hits, Take On Me is the one that truly stands the test of time. Even today, it's impossible to resist singing along when it comes on the radio, in a movie, or during your favorite 80s themed party, or in my case, during your workout. The song's infectious energy and that iconic video have kept it alive and kicking in pop culture for decades. Speaking of pop culture, Take On Me has been covered and referenced countless times, from being reimagined by bands like Weezer to popping up in TV shows, movies, and even video games. It's a song that transcends generations, still as fresh and fun as it was back in 1985. All right, let's pause here before I get to some more songs so you can enjoy my interesting fact of the week, and then we'll continue to learn about some more one-hit wonders. Welcome to my interesting fact of the week. Did you know that there's a National One-Hit Wonder Day? Yep, mark your calendars for September 25th, because this is the day we all get to celebrate those unforgettable songs that exploded onto the scene, dominated the airwaves, and then, like a musical shooting star, disappeared into the night. It's a day dedicated to those glorious tracks that might have left us scratching our heads about where the artist went, but still get us dancing every time they come on. Picture it. You're at a party, everyone's having a great time, and then the DJ drops Mambo No. 5. Suddenly, the whole place is grooving like it's 1999 again. That's the magic of a one-hit wonder. These songs have a way of transcending time, instantly bringing us back to the moment when they ruled the charts. National One-Hit Wonder Day is all about embracing that nostalgia. It's a chance to crank up those old-school jams, reminisce about where you were when you first heard them, and maybe even do the Macarena one more time, because why not? It's also a reminder of the unpredictable nature of music. How one song can capture the world's attention, even if it's just for a fleeting moment. So, next September 25th, which is coming up, don't be shy. Dust off those playlists, dig out your old CDs, and celebrate the one-hit wonders that have given us so much joy over the years. Because while they may have had only one big hit, their impact is anything but small. And now, back to our episode. Welcome back. Now, let's kick it back to the early 90s with a song that made everyone want to go out and buy parachute pants and bust out their best dance moves. Of course, we're talking about Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice. In 1990, a relatively unknown rapper named Robert Van Winkle, who you probably know better as Vanilla Ice, dropped a track that would become one of the most recognizable hits of the decade. Ice Ice Baby wasn't just another rap song. It was the first rap song to top the Billboard Hot 100, marking a major moment for hip-hop as it crossed over into the mainstream pop culture. But how did Vanilla Ice rise to fame? It's all about that infectious beat, one you might recognize, and not just because of Ice Ice Baby. The song's bass line is a direct sample from Queen and David Bowie's Under Pressure. And here's where things get interesting. Initially, Vanilla Ice didn't exactly give credit where it was due, claiming that the bass line was slightly different. This, of course, led to some legal drama, and let's just say the Queen camp wasn't too thrilled. Eventually, the issue was settled out of court, and Vanilla Ice had to shell out some royalties. Lesson learned. Always give credit where it's due. Despite the controversy, Ice Ice Baby became a cultural phenomenon. It wasn't just the catchy hook that got people's attention. It was Vanilla Ice's smooth delivery, the unforgettable music video, and his undeniable flair for showmanship. Suddenly, Vanilla Ice was everywhere, on TV, in movies, and selling out concerts. But while Vanilla Ice didn't manage to replicate the success of Ice Ice Baby with his later music, the song's impact on hip-hop and pop music is undeniable. It brought rap into homes of millions of people who might not have been exposed to it otherwise, paving the way for the genre to explode in the 90s and beyond. Here's a fun fact. Despite the mixed critical reception, Ice Ice Baby remains a beloved throwback hit. It's the kind of song that instantly transports you back to the early 90s, whether you're at a karaoke night, a retro party, or just feeling a bit nostalgic. Vanilla Ice might be a one-hit wonder, but what a hit it was. Cool as ice. All right, y'all. Are you ready to boot scoot back to the early 90s? Let's dive into a song that not only topped the charts, but also got everyone line dancing their way into the nearest honky tonk. We're talking about Achy Breaky Heart by Billy Ray Cyrus. Released in 1992, Achy Breaky Heart wasn't just a country song, it was the country song that brought line dancing into the mainstream and made Billy Ray Cyrus a household name. With its catchy, twangy chorus and simple heartache-filled lyrics, it was the perfect tune to get people up on their feet and moving in perfect synchronized steps. But let's talk about those dance moves for a second. The line dance that accompanied Achy Breaky Heart became a dance craze all on its own. Suddenly, people who had never set foot in a country bar were learning to shuffle, stomp, and clap along to Cyrus's heartfelt ballad of love gone wrong. The song's dance-friendly vibe made it a staple at country music festivals, weddings, and pretty much any gathering where folks wanted to show off their best two-step. Achy Breaky Heart wasn't just a hit, it was a crossover sensation reaching audiences far beyond the traditional country music crowd. It peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became a defining track of the early 90s. And let's not forget, it also played a huge role in bringing country music into the pop culture spotlight, helping pave the way for other country crossover artists in the years that followed. Here's a fun fact. Before Achy Breaky Heart catapulted Billy Ray Cyrus to fame, he was a struggling musician playing in small clubs around Kentucky. But after the song's massive success, Cyrus became a superstar almost overnight. And while he's had other hits, Achy Breaky Heart remains the song most people remember him for. It even earned a revival of sorts decades later when his daughter, Miley Cyrus, became a pop icon in her own right. No offense, but I love Miley Cyrus better than Billy Ray Cyrus, but I do remember dancing to Achy Breaky Heart. That's probably one of the only times I ever line danced. But there was a time when I was like big into country. We'll talk about that in a different episode, though. Now, let's take a cosmic trip back to 1969 with a song that blends rock with gospel in a way that's both heavenly and out of this world. I'm talking about the iconic Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum. When you think of rock anthems that have stood the test of time, Spirit in the Sky is right up there with the best of them. With its fused-out guitar riff, hand claps, and those unmistakable gospel-inspired lyrics, the song became an instant classic that still resonates with listeners today. But what's the story behind this celestial hit? Norman Greenbaum, a Jewish singer-songwriter, crafted Spirit in the Sky after watching, you won't believe this, a cowboy movie. Inspired by the way the cowboy characters seemed to face death with a calm, stoic demeanor, Greenbaum decided to write a song about the afterlife, but with a twist. He wanted to combine rock music with gospel themes, creating a unique sound that was both soulful and electrifying. And boy, did he succeed. Spirit in the Sky quickly became an anthem, hitting number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and selling over 2 million copies. Its infectious groove and uplifting message about going to the great beyond with a sense of peace and confidence struck a chord with audiences across the world. What makes this song even more fascinating is its lasting impact on rock music. Spirit in the Sky has been covered by numerous artists, featured in countless movies and TV shows, and remains a go-to track for anyone looking to capture that classic 60s vibe. Whether it's playing during a pivotal scene in a film or blasting from the radio, there's something about this song that feels timeless. Here's a fun fact about this song. Despite the song's strong gospel influences, Norman Greenbaum himself wasn't particularly religious. He simply knew that the gospel sound would add a powerful, uplifting vibe to the track, and he wasn't wrong. Spirit in the Sky has become one of those songs that transcends its era, continuing to inspire new generations of listeners with its message of peace and rock and roll salvation. Spirit in the Sky, every time I hear it, I think of Guardians of the Galaxy because it's on the soundtrack to, I believe that was the first movie. But Guardians of the Galaxy has a really good soundtrack, and I'm probably going to do an episode about the soundtrack to all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies because great soundtracks. All right, our last song is not just a hit, but a piece of cinematic history. I'm talking about the unforgettable Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds. Released in 1985, this track is forever linked to one of the most iconic movies of the 80s, The Breakfast Club, and one of my all-time favorite movies ever. If you've ever seen this film, you know that this song plays during the final scene as the camera pans out and Judd Nelson's character raises his fist in the air in triumph. It's a moment that's etched in the minds of anyone who's ever watched that movie, and the song itself has become an anthem of youth, rebellion, and the complex journey of growing up. But here's the kicker. Simple Minds initially didn't want to record the song. The band was hesitant to take on a track that wasn't written by them. But after some persuasion from their record label, they agreed. And thank goodness they did, because Don't You Forget About Me went on to become their biggest hit, reaching number 1 in the US and solidifying their place in music history. The impact of this song goes beyond just the charts, though. It captured the essence of a generation, resonating with teens who saw themselves in the characters of The Breakfast Club and the emotions that the film explored. The song's haunting lyrics and powerful melody struck a chord with listeners, making it an enduring symbol of the 80s. And even though Simple Minds initially had reservations about recording the song, they later embraced it as a signature part of their repertoire. The track's success led to renewed interest in the band's earlier work, and they continue to perform Don't You Forget About Me at their concerts to this day. And there you have it. A whirlwind tour through some of the most iconic one-hit wonders that have left an indelible mark on music history. From the dance floor domination of Macarena to the gospel-themed Spirit in the Sky, these songs may have been one-hit wonders, but their impact on pop culture is anything but fleeting. Each of these tracks brought something unique to the table, whether it was the infectious energy of Mambo No. 5 or the synth-pop brilliance of Tainted Love. They've all contributed to the rich tapestry of music history, proving that even a single hit can create ripples that last for decades. But why do these one-hit wonders capture our imagination so powerfully? Maybe it's the sense of nostalgia they invoke, or perhaps it's the way they encapsulate a moment in time, taking us back to when we first heard them. Whatever the reason, these songs continue to resonate with us, reminding us that sometimes all it takes is one great track to make history. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's always so much fun to dive into these songs that have shaped our lives, and I really hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane with some of the greatest one-hit wonders of all time. So next week, I am switching gears for a very special episode and one that's close to my heart, because next week is my birthday, and the podcast actually comes out on my birthday, so I'm going to share with you my personal birthday playlist and some of the songs that I have to include on that playlist, and how I'm going to celebrate my birthday with music the whole entire day. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to The Music and Me on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. You can leave a review if you're enjoying the show, and follow me on social media to stay updated on all things music. And I promise I will get better at posting on social media. Your support means the world to me, and I can't wait to share more musical memories with you, and I can't wait to celebrate my birthday next week. I am so excited for that episode. Until next time, keep the music in you alive and well. Peace out, everybody. This has been the Music in Me podcast. Subscribe now so you don't miss a beat.